Because sexual abuse, sexual assault is about one thing: taking power, humiliating, demeaning a person and a victim. It has nothing to do with sex.
There's too many real dudes that dislike him. But then again, there's a lot of real dudes that need help.
If that's true, I think that might tip the scales in favor of not letting him out.
Her answers to this tape was and still remains a resounding yes to its existence.
New details have surfaced about Diddy allegedly being abused at the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York. Reports claim that he suffered a nervous breakdown following the assault. Sources close to Diddy reveal that he is allegedly struggling with thoughts of self-harm. Adding to his fears, both Jay-Z and Jennifer Lopez have reportedly been called as witnesses, leaving Diddy in a state of panic.
According to a report from the Daily Mail, that's why Diddy had a breakdown. A person close to him apparently said, quote, "Spending the holidays behind bars was a nightmare for him." If we're to believe all this, Diddy had a meltdown in his cell and begged the guards to take him to the hospital for observation, but they refused. This same friend or person told the Daily Mail, quote, "He eventually managed to calm himself down with the meditation technique he's been using while he's been behind bars. It took him a few hours of deep breathing and focusing to get out of the bad space he was in, but he finally managed it." This isn't the first time Diddy's mental health has come into question while he's been at MDC. When he first arrived, he was on suicide watch, which the U.S. Department of Justice National Institute of Corrections describes as supervisory precautions taken for suicidal inmates that require frequent observation. Diddy's suicide watch was only temporary, though. He was housed in a special protective unit of the jail after that for the first few weeks of his stay. But Diddy right now is in Gen Pop, meaning general population, the place where majority of the inmates stay. And that's where he apparently had this meltdown over the holidays, at least according to one source.
Insiders are coming forward to expose Diddy's alleged dark side, with several prisoners reportedly filing lawsuits against him. One particularly shocking revelation comes from Jonathan Oddie, who was arrested in connection with a 2018 shooting at Trump's National Doral Golf Course in Miami. In an exclusive interview, Oddie claimed that Diddy had been using him as a sex slave. He further alleged that Hollywood's so-called gay mafia was coercing him into committing crimes.
But you knowing Diddy personally, do you think it's possible he might take his life?
It takes a certain individual to prepare himself to do a lot of years in jail. From the lifestyle that he had, I'm not saying that he can't. I just don't see him able to do time behind bars. Maybe if he'd be in a camp type situation, that's a possibility. But based on the lifestyle and what he's done and what he's accomplished, if he had to go behind those bars for a lot of years, I think that he may commit suicide. He'd do an Epstein.
Another prisoner who has filed a lawsuit against Diddy is Cardello Smith, currently incarcerated on allegations of sexual assault, a crime he claims Diddy framed him for. Cardello previously won a $100 million lawsuit against Diddy, though Diddy's legal team is now appealing that decision. In his lawsuit, Cardello alleges that Diddy raped him in 1997 during a party at a Holiday Inn in Detroit, where Cardello worked as a bartender. He has also named Jennifer Lopez as a material witness, claiming that Diddy recorded the assault and later showed the footage to J-Lo. According to Cardello, despite being aware of what happened, J-Lo neither reported the incident to authorities nor attempted to assist him.
Going back to Cardello Smith's filing, his notice says that Jennifer Lynn Lopez, aka J-Lo, aka Jenny from the Block, quote, will be called as a material witness and expert to Sean Combs' viewing, possession, and distribution of his sexual assault upon the plaintiff in 1997, and the orders of defendant Sean Combs forcing Jennifer Lopez to remain silent about the videotaped sexual assault of plaintiff by defendant. Plaintiff states that the material witness Jennifer Lynn Lopez, also known as J-Lo and Jenny from the Block, was engaged in a relationship with the defendant Sean Combs during 1999 and 2001, and that the sexual assault of the plaintiff was recorded, distributed, and held by the defendant at his New York residence and recording studio. And during the relationship with Jennifer Lopez, she was made privy to this video that was taken by Sean Combs and his employee Kirk Burrows. She, J-Lo, has known this video existed and was in existence and took no action to make it known to anyone in law enforcement, and that she was even questioned by New York Police Detective Derek Palmer about this matter, and that the report will show that her answers to this tape was and still remains a resounding yes to its existence.
The longer Diddy remains in prison, the more lawsuits seem to surface. Victims who were once silenced are now stepping forward with their stories. Jay-Z and Jennifer Lopez are just the first high-profile names to be implicated, and as Diddy's case continues, more names are expected to emerge. Meanwhile, Diddy is reportedly terrified for his life and desperate to secure his release. Despite his legal team offering a staggering $50 million for bail, the judge denied the request.
Well, I think his counsel has done the best they possibly can. I think bringing him there voluntarily is very smart, starts them out on the right foot. But I think the last thing that you just mentioned, the interfering with witnesses.
That's the allegation, yeah.
Yeah, if that's true, or I should say, if there's real indicia that happened, I think that might tip the scales in favor of not letting him out pending trial, because I think, and you know this, I think judges take an extraordinarily dim view of that, and that might be the factor that tips the scale against him. But I think as far as a tactic, I think it was very smart to do what they did and to say, look, you know, he's here, you didn't have to track him down, he's got a real defense here, he's doing everything right, at least right now. I'm not sure it's going to be enough at the end of the day.
Diddy is now facing the fallout from his actions, and he's reportedly terrified of being sent to the general prison population. Known for their harsh treatment of pedophiles, such an environment would be a far cry from Diddy's life of luxury. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, has openly stated that he doesn't believe Diddy has what it takes to survive prison life and might even consider ending his own life to avoid spending decades behind bars. As it stands, Diddy is facing life in prison on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering.
So when you look at that video of him pacing around and he's looking worried, and you knowing him, do you think it's possible that he might commit suicide?
When you're a narcissist, there's always a possibility because you're suffering. But I don't think that he can see himself in a cage. I don't think he can see himself behind those bars in those type of situations. It's too many real dudes that dislike him. But then again, there's a lot of real dudes that need help. And him being behind bars, he could probably help them.
Inside the Metropolitan Detention Center, Diddy faces a very real threat from prisoners who might try to harm or even kill him at their first opportunity. Many of these inmates are serving life sentences and seek to gain street credibility, making Diddy an obvious target. Fully aware of this, Diddy is reportedly terrified. Life behind bars is a harsh contrast to the comfort and luxury he's accustomed to, and survival will be an immense challenge for him. It's important to remember that Diddy has been accused of drugging his victims, including minors, or instructing his guards to restrain them. However, unlike the image he projected, Diddy isn't a gangster, and this is the first time he's facing hardened criminals who aren't intimidated by him.
He is on suicide watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there, he was like an overnight guest. When they called his bond hearing, now they checked him into the system, and reality has hit him. And I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on suicide watch. Another error that I guess some warden told you this. There are sentenced inmates there. They're called cadre inmates. They don't have to be white collar inmates, but they're doing maintenance on the building. And the problem why there's a lot of violence there, they have housing units. And they're mixing bank robbers, drug dealers, rapists with white collar people. And this is why Diddy, he can't go into a regular housing unit because somebody will take him out for sure. Somebody's gonna get a lot of street credibility out of this. People that are doing substantial time that know they're never getting out. They'll just kill the guy, no questions asked.
To make things even worse for Diddy, a new lawsuit has been filed accusing him of raping 3 men, 2 of whom were reportedly his former employees. According to statements from the alleged victims, Diddy's assaults weren't driven by attraction, but by a desire to assert dominance. One victim described Diddy's actions as an attempt to make him his bitch. These allegations paint Diddy as a predator driven by power, reinforcing the image of him as a monstrous figure.
And these cases were all identical in the facts, identical in the story. It was beginning, middle, conclusion.
They know each other?
Boom. None of them knew each
Did
other.
you have them meet?
No.
Did you have them coordinate stories?
No, no.
Do you think they had any contact with each other before they came to you?
Absolutely not.
And when you were talking to them, well, first, the ones that you didn't take, why not?
Stories didn't make sense. Stories didn't fit the pattern. Stories were not credible. I mean, this is my 30th year as a lawyer. I've tried over 100 cases. I can assess whether somebody's story is credible. And if I don't believe it, I'm not going to put my name on a pleading, sign it, and file it in court. I'm not doing that. And that's what I did with the 60-plus cases that I rejected. Because sexual abuse, sexual assault is about one thing: taking power, humiliating, demeaning a person and a victim. It has nothing to do with sex. And so I think it's important. I think it's important to get the word out. I think it's important for men to feel, hey, look, I can come out and be heard just like a woman could.
Diddy's situation grows more dire with each passing day. From explosive allegations of abuse and sex trafficking to an onslaught of lawsuits and high-profile names being pulled into the chaos, it seems his days of living above the law might finally be coming to an end. With reports of a nervous breakdown and mounting fears for his safety, Diddy appears to be struggling to face the harsh reality of his downfall. What do you think will happen next? Will Diddy find a way out of this, or is this the beginning of the end for him? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for the latest updates.